Hey guys, aren't we gonna do like a better intro this time?
Should we do what we did in the test recording?
What's up, gamers?
Oh, right. What's up, Mustangs?
Oh.
Stangies!
Dang it.
We
Oh,
can
you know
just
what?
have this blooper reel of just us deciding what we're gonna name
Okay.
the audience.
Yeah, guys, if you want to suggest like another intro that we can do, send it in the Dropbox. We can try
We're
to
very creative,
we
as you
can
can
we
clearly
can
see.
try to reenact it
We're
and
only
everything.
creative at around like 3 a.m.
We're trying to make ourselves more, unique.
We're not like the
and-
other podcasts. I mean, we're the only ones.
We're not like other podcasts.
Girl, we're the only ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, we're just gonna. I'm just gonna be straightforward. Welcome to the 14th episode of Mustang Studios. This time we're gonna be talking about internet culture. Oh, my name. Okay,
How
yeah,
we know
yeah.
us.
It's Rija.
Hi, I'm Padma.
Hi, it's Babaka.
And Sadia.
Okay. The internet.
Yes, the internet.
The deep webs of the interwebs. I don't know what. Okay.
Where you can find everything and anything. And I mean anything.
That is both unfortunate and fortunate.
Having the internet is like it's basically like the encyclopedia at your fingertips, right? There's just so much
Exactly.
information on the internet that we just don't know. Well, I feel like we've come to a point where it's super hard to differentiate between what is like factual, what are memes, and what are just straight up like false news.
Yeah, exactly. It's very hard to tell sometimes. You would really have to like investigate, like, like what is truth and what is not truth. Especially in English class. So we also had this in English class too. Like, what is truth?
Actually, I'm just wondering, in your guys' English class, did they ever do like citations and stuff? Like you have to search for your sources, you have to search for.
Yeah, obviously we do that. Yeah. We need to cite our sources, otherwise it's plagiarism.
Yeah, but apparently you don't do that in AP English class, and it just never made sense to me as to why.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you like refer to the material that you're using? To, like...
They did. They just give you the material. Like, okay, here's the passage. You have to find evidence in this passage, and you have to link it to some real world thing, or the information has to be anecdotal, which first and foremost is going to be very biased. If it's anecdotal, I'm gonna have my entire perspective, opinions, or whatever onto the thing, which is not going to be that accurate, right? So it's really weird how in AP English classes, the one class you'd expect, it's like college level or whatever they say. Nah, man, you don't. There's no like research, like proper research stuff that you do in AP English classes.
Maybe it's because you're in online English, right?
No, even in my in-person AP Lang classes, they don't do that either. I actually even asked my teacher, like, why don't we ever do like research-based stuff in AP Lang? And she's just like, I don't know. Which is honestly a really big concern for me. Because that just adds to how, in my opinion, how useless some of these English classes can end up being.
Because for AP Lang, it's more about learning how to write an essay in the fastest amount of time. It's for more of AP Lit, it's more about the books.
Literature.
It's more literature based. You have to actually go back and cite your sources a lot.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, that makes sense to like refer back to the material because like to bring those ideas to like current ones and like I don't know, connect them, I guess.
And here's like my later point of like, the running joke is that the English teachers look at the curtain and then they're saying like, oh wow, this curtain has like a deeper meaning and things like that.
Yeah.
Some of that is funny, but then I remember like the other side of the coin where people just lack absolutely no media literacy whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I did.
And that is also like pretty dangerous. So yeah, I get both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, in the very beginning of being an AP Lang, so I actually really hated it at first because I thought it was insanely useless how we're just doing like rhetorical analysis essays or like other like AP like Lang stuff. I don't remember the stuff. But anyways, I thought it was really useless at first because I thought, what am I ever gonna use this for? And then I realized like, oh, this is really useful in knowing how to properly analyze what people are actually saying. Like say for example, if you're listening to a presidential speech, if you know what rhetoric they're using and how it affects the audience as a whole, then you as a more informed audience can then can then understand what they're trying to say, and if you can even tell if it's like good or bad, if it's just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Also, I feel like in AP Lang, don't you guys learn like specific words? Like, is it because it's language, right?
Oh yeah, just a
So
bunch of really fancy like AP English words that I don't think you're ever gonna use elsewhere.
we use like slang and abbreviations and and whatnot.
Speaking of like how it ties back to internet culture with the
Yeah.
whole concept of slang.
Exactly.
Modern,
know,
sorry, go on.
Sus is like the new the new one ever since Among Us.
Ever since Among Us
Yeah.
came out, it was like sus.
Hmm.
Okay, some internet slang just confuses me at sometimes. Like I don't know if it's just like I'm out of the loop or whatever. But okay, I understand when you say okay, something is sus. I get it. It means something suspicious, something is strange, or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
doesn't feel right. And so, okay, there are just certain words that I feel comfortable reading, but comfortable saying out loud.
There's
Like-
a difference. Like if like some people are more. Imagine saying like LOL out loud.
Dude, that's like old internet stuff. I'm talking about the recent of the Reddit dictionary. I'm talking like imagine calling someone a Chad, dude. It feels so weird. You can call someone else a Chad. It's so weird to call yourself one, right?
It's like someone just like I can not like hear the word beta without laughing
Right?
that is funny.
because it's like and like some of these like people on the internet would say so seriously like that guy is a beta male, and I just can't help but laugh.
I mean, the whole thing with like beta and alpha males are so funny to me because it's not even like scientifically accurate. Like, there's been research about it. And it's like weird, like people are like, oh, I'm an alpha and stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
And then the
It's
one
not
that
even-
transcends them all, the Sigma,
It's none
the
of it's
god
act-
amongst gods.
It's just like nonsense. To be fair.
Honestly, this whole like hierarchy of men thing that I'm like seeing on the internet, I'm just like, why do you do that?
It's really
I genuinely want to know.
It's like generally just concerned. Like, are you guys okay? Do you guys need therapy? Because it seems like it.
maybe it's just the reason why it's only between guys and not girls, right?
Yeah.
It'll just probably make too much sense if it's between us.
You know, there was a Dropbox comment about toxic masculinity.
I guess
Oh,
that
yeah,
could
those
also
times.
contribute to like the alpha male culture because it does like have some sort of parallel traits with toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
like showing no emotion.
I
like,
mean-
always having to be dominant and strong.
I mean, well, kind of, but not really. The thing that I see about all these like alpha male like memes and whatever, it's usually along the lines of like this dude. I wouldn't say is misogynistic in any sense, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean, right? He's like, oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't like pay attention to the girl's attempts at seduction or whatever. He just kind of does his own thing or whatever. I don't know. Some of these things just they make sense at times, but at the same time, like you can't go around calling yourself an alpha, right?
Mhm.
That just makes you look like the biggest beta, right?
How about we just conclude it to it just makes you look stupid?
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if Nahum was here, I feel like hearing his thoughts about this, it you know, I would really want to know like a actual guy's perspective about this too.
I think it's one of those things that's really entrenched in bro culture, if you know what I mean.
Bro culture.
Bro culture.
There's this thing called the bro code too.
It's
Oh,
like the reverse of girl code.
I wouldn't say reverse. It's a different breed of the girl code.
Oh, so it's like a variation.
Yeah. Oh my god. I hope this doesn't. Oh my god. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The memes are hilarious. They really are. Dude, there's this one subreddit I follow called Virgin versus Chad. And okay, I'm not gonna lie, some of
Stop.
What kind of
Okay,
name is that?
it's an actual
What kind of
subreddit.
part of Reddit are you on? I'm just on the.
Dude, I get
Or
bored.
it's on Animal Crossing.
You'd be surprised, actually.
Just look at Reddit's about My Little Pony.
Oh, dude, no.
No, actually, never
No.
mind.
No.
Never mind.
Oh.
No, there's some cursed stuff
The
on
brony
there.
fandom guys.
How is it that old franchises have the most cursed fandoms? How is it that My Little Pony and like Sonic the Hedgehog have spawned?
Okay, you're not wrong about that one.
How is it that these franchises have spawned the most cursed, like, depraved people
Don't
on
forget
the
about
internet?
Elmo.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
wait.
No,
Oh,
no.
He has
that's
some-
Rocco though.
Do you have something to tell us?
Wait,
What?
Elmo-
Yeah, sure, go on.
Okay, I'm just stunned for a bit. What happened between Elmo and like
Rocco?
that was the
Brony
Elmo
fandom.
Rocco beef was very hilarious, but what happened to Elmo?
I don't know. When I was like really young, I was on my DSi and I was just looking at
No good thing happens on a kid's DSi at like 3 a.m. I'm
because
speaking from personal
I
experience.
don't know what it was. There were just a lot of like Elmo being a can I say serial killer?
He eats cereal, guys.
And then
don't worry.
after that, because I was like super young, I was afraid of Elmo.
This is literally the same thing that happened to
You
me
know-
when I watched Racist
Yeah.
Mario for the first time, okay?
The
What
fandom
the heck was wrong with your guys' childhoods?
people
Look, early
ruined it.
early
I just-
2000s internet was unhinged, okay?
Early 2000s internet, I watched Barbie get kidnapped multiple times.
Oh yeah, actually
I would
yeah.
watch it on the family TV with like no mercy.
Why would you watch it on the family TV?
I don't know.
Was I the only one who had a normal childhood? I didn't
Yes,
really have
Leah, you're
access
the
to
only one.
internet,
At least,
so
okay, you haven't been
Oh.
been exposed to the throes of the internet, okay?
like at that age, no. Now is another story.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Back then was extremely unhinged. There was no filter on anything.
Which one?
It was like the
old
Wild
internet.
West, bro.
Early
No.
2000s internet.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, I think one thing that I noticed about early 2000s internet is that how strict people were as like a personal code in the sense of like protecting their like privacy and whatnot, right? Because nowadays I feel like kids who grew up with the old internet, I'm talking like early 2000s or whatever, I think they had the ability to recognize the fact that this place is kind of dangerous.
It's a cesspool for
It-
a reason.
Yeah, this is a cesspool that, you know, we have to be careful when treading the waters of. But nowadays, dude, like literal 10-year-olds are on like Instagram, TikTok, all of these,
Mainly
even Twitter,
because
bro.
because what I'm like noticing like growing up is that there's just a lack of like kids being taught internet safety.
Oh my god, yeah.
Internet safety, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like they're just like given like a device, and then it's like they're like they can
Your
do
problem
whatever.
now.
But then, yeah, they're not taught like what to do, how to keep safe and stuff. So that is an issue, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and these types of things, they gain a lot of attraction, especially to these like you guys said, these younger kids. And that's why I'm pretty worried about the younger generations afterwards, like what's going to happen to them, like the youth.
Mhm.
Like after us, we're already like internet savvy, but as for the later generations, what's that gonna turn into?
See, the one-
Imagine all of these Reddit posts and everything times 10 or something.
Not just Reddit posts, but like the cultures of the subcultures within like Reddit or like any sort of like social media platform. Would you consider Reddit a social media platform even?
I mean, you
Social
share pictures and interact with others,
media.
so it's technically in a social media site.
Yeah.
It's probably like the weirder ones of the social media. It's not like the other ones, you know?
It's like not like a traditional, I guess.
Yeah.
Just imagine like growing up, like having the internet like really shaped like most of my teenage life. I feel like
Mhm.
because it's like that's where you found like most of your interest, right, on the internet.
Oh yeah, that's how I discovered like really good fan art. Some of my favorite artists, they're all on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get past the fact that they're on the internet, you figure out like, oh, this is this person, this is where they like work, this is what their work looks like or whatever. But going back to the whole kids on the internet, the one thing that I'm genuinely like concerned about is, yeah, internet safety. I don't know if K through 8 or even K through like 5 K through like 5th grade schools are even teaching their kids how to stay fun.
According to my brother, I don't think they are.
Oh dude, no, no, no. That is not good. Like no matter despite how boring our internet safety lessons were, at least we got something useful out of it. They were really really strict on like, okay, make sure you don't put your personal name and stuff. Don't put any like information about, like, don't dox yourself basically. Don't reveal your address, your real name, your family history, your parents' names, your brother's name, even your dog's name. Nothing. You keep all of that under fake names or usernames.
Yeah, when you just like, even when people want to create personas on the internet, they usually use a fake name.
Yeah. Like obviously my real name isn't like, I don't know, sauce tomato or something. I don't know. That's like a username on the internet. But the point is, you have to like keep yourself anonymous. That's the one advantage of having the internet, right? You have the ability to cruise kind of anonymous under like fake names or username or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I've also used a lot of weird and fake names too.
If we
For
go through our old
Yeah.
usernames from like middle school, would we probably be able to cringe at all of them? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I have a junk mail that still has like my middle school username on it, and I still regret using it to this day.
You should just delete it.
No, it keeps
it's a
it
memory.
keeps all of my account stuff, and it's also a junk mail.
Oh, okay.
So I have a school one, a personal business one, and a personal whatever I want.
Wow.
I have 3 emails.
Is one of them a spam account or something?
No, it's I have a school one, a personal one for like colleges and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then a third one is just for like sites like Twitter, Instagram, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, another thing like with being concerned like with like younger generations coming into the internet is also like how toxic the internet is
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. And like like things like cyberbullying and stuff and like how that can like affect them at such a young age as well. That's very concerning
From
thinking
personal
about 'cause-
experience, bullying just becomes heightened because it's behind the person's back. Bullying become a lot more private.
Yeah. I don't really see a lot of like physical, like face-to-face bullying as much as I do on the internet.
A really
Oh, yeah.
popular form of bullying is like recording somebody without their consent.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I don't know if people could realize that they could go to the police for that.
Yeah. And also not including a person in like whatever, like in your friend group or whatever. I actually learned this from those planners that you get back in middle school and elementary school.
Yeah.
There was like this whole section about like bullying and what does it mean and what types of bullying are there, and then turns out that not including a person in your friend group or your friend in whatever you're doing is also bullying, like not being inclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see that.
So I guess maybe that's a way that people teach kids how to recognize those things, but like it's not enough, right?
No, no.
Like putting it in a planner, like, not a lot of people would read that.
It's like it's a start, but it isn't like enough. You need to like have something that's like right in your face
Like
or
a formal
something.
class or an assembly, maybe even like a unit, like just a small like one class unit on like, hey kids, this is a username and password, don't share it.
But to be honest, do you think kids would really pay attention to it though?
If it's the internet, then maybe.
I highly doubt it, dude. Cause, dude, let's be honest. When you see like an art like 18, when you see like a restricted site, what do you think you're gonna like not go away? And it says like 18 and above. Do you think you're gonna like go away from it? Nah, man. You're gonna fake your age and go to the site, and you might regret it later. Or you might come to be like, oh, this is a really weird and bizarre place that I actually genuinely enjoy being on. No.
Hold your.
As in, like, okay,
Pause.
wait. Okay, let me explain myself.
Pause.
Let me explain myself. Reddit, okay?
That's even worse. That's a much worse opening.
Okay, you know how most social media sites, okay, that was a bad example, okay, scratch that. Anyways, that was a really bad example, but okay, my point is, most social media sites have an actual, like, age limitation, right? Suppose I'm like a 9-year-old and I want to get Instagram. The minimum age requirement, I think, is like 14 and above, right?
It's 13.
It's, okay, 13. It should actually be 15. I don't know why it's 13, but anyways, do you think that's gonna stop me, bro? When I'm a 9-year-old going on
It's
to
so
13 plus site.
pointless. It's just like birth certificates. Like, what's the point of having a birth certificate?
Oh,
You're
to
already here.
Your
It's
birth
for
to
the
government for job.
You're already here.
No,
Like,
no,
I mean,
why do I have to prove that I was born?
No, like my dad
That's-
was just like my dad's dad was just like, I'm gonna fake my son's birth certificate because I don't genuinely remember what year he was born in.
Oh my
So he's like
God.
3 years older on his 3 or 4 years older on his birth certificate.
Bruh. Okay, the one thing about birth certificates that they're really important for like official documents, or if you want to get like a driver's license or even like official identification, you need a birth certificate because they want to know when you were actually born.
What
As a
happens
court.
to orphans then? How do they get their birth certificate?
That's a good question. I don't know. Oh boy. Anyways,
If you want to answer this question, just drop it in the Dropbox.
yeah. If anyone knows.
There's
Anyways.
orphans.
Yeah, and also sometimes people go on the internet to, like, if they want to fit into a certain group, like online servers.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Online servers, like online.
Wait, isn't that how
spaces.
isn't that how incel forums grow? Yeah.
Yeah, there's like the best and the worst when it comes to these. So it's like the internet's good for like finding a really niche community that you have a lot of passion for, but it also creates like communities of like hate and toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually watched this one video. I think, what is it, by Moist Critical or something?
Yeah.
He found this one video of a dude, I think, who spent way too much time in like incel forums and like the incel side of like Reddit or something. And he was spouting all this nonsense about like, oh, women are not real or whatever. They're
Wait,
like,
women are not real?
Yeah, no. I'm not even saying this in like I'm not even saying this in a feminist sense. I'm just saying this like this thing just genuinely makes no sense whatsoever to anyone hearing it. He literally said something along the lines of like, women are only like manifestations of sensory perception. They don't exist.
Yo.
I'm
What in the
shaking
world?
right now.
What happened to this guy?
Did
Where
he-
was he?
did he-
Was he inside his basement?
No.
What about his mom? What do you?
Apparently, she's just a manifestation of sensory perception. His sister, same story.
No, wait. Because like sometimes half of these men like say anything about like biology, and I'm just like, dude, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And it's like a jawline is your jawline is not the reason you can't get women. Maybe it's because of the way you speak.
Pretty much. Bro, even like other dudes were like, dude, this guy makes genuinely no sense. Again, we're not saying this in any feminist sense whatsoever. It's just that
It's
some
just
of
like-
these things just make no sense in any.
No, because like I went to like this incel tears thing where they just like post stuff from that forum, and it's just a bunch of dudes going, dude, what the heck?
Yeah. It's really weird. Again, this goes back to basic internet safety. You need to know what goes on in the internet to be able to know, like, you should probably stay away from this and probably go towards this.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of like internet spaces, how about like online friends?
Online friends, no. I
No.
do not support online friends because I did have like a personal experience about this too. So my sister and I started this like K-pop fanfic contest in Wattpad.
Oh, was it like pretty popular?
It got like 2.5k reads.
Oh,
So people can like submit their K-pop stories and whatnot.
You're saying this out loud,
But
like,
yeah, I know. But we had like specific requirements and everything like that. But there was like in one of the posts that we made, we said it was titled "More Contests" because after we ended the contest, we provided like more contests that our participants can go to. We said something like copycats or something like that as a joke.
And then
As
you
a
got
joke.
some
And
internet drama.
then yeah, and then somebody said, "Really? You had to say that?" So we kind of got hated on a little bit, like called out because of that. And then we had to apologize and make an announcement that we apologize for saying this. And the reason why this ties back to the online friends thing is because, like, I would honestly, I joke around with my friends, right? And I know how they would react, but I don't know how
It's
the
just
people
that-
online, how they would react.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't call them real friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't know them and I
'Cause
don't know how they will
I
respond.
guess like online friends are fine, but they're like different definitions. In like most cases, it would just be like a mutual thing. You follow them, they follow you back,
Yeah.
and like they occasionally like comment on your content, but there's still a boundary there.
Yeah. It's like a
Like you don't know each other's like real name and things like that, where you guys actually live.
I think like maybe like I've never had all of my friends, so I'm just like talking out of like, thin air. But like maybe like online friends, like when you mutually get to know each other, maybe like on Discord or something. I don't
Like
know.
Discord, Twitter, things
yeah,
like that. That's
yeah.
where it's like most likely to get.
Yeah, like become like closer like friends. Like maybe that's like more
Especially
like,
Discord.
yeah, like that more like become like more like friends.
And also like
Online.
Discord can also be like the best and worst place for social interaction.
Like if it's like with close friends that you already know, I think it's fine. But if it's like with strangers, maybe it's like question mark. You don't
Question mark.
know.
Because it also surprising like how many little kids have Discord. I did not know what Discord was until I was in my sophomore or junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I feel like servers and all these stuff, they should be made with the people that you know physically. Because, for example, I had a Discord server for speech and debate because I knew like all the team members and whatnot. Yeah, so those types of things, like for Mustang Studios, we could also start
can
a
also do
Discord
Discord.
too.
I think we should do it.
We should do that.
Like maybe like after like in summer, so we can just keep up with everyone.
We can be like, where are we now?
Where are we now? I'm going to the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're also like spreading the message of share your voice.
Sharing your voice. And let's talk about identity theft.
Identity
Oh, yeah.
theft.
It's like the most notorious crime, especially for children, because
Imagine Mustang Studios identity theft.
what is our identity theft? What are they gonna do with a bunch of like kids with mics?
Be like, not Mustang Studios. Like
Mustang Studios, not real.
like their Instagram handles like at not Mustang Studio.
An alternate version of Mustang Studios.
What is the alternate version? Instead of like share your voice, it's deny.
They like deep fake our voices or whatever.
Deep fakes are the worst.
Oh, that's a thing, huh? It's weird. I don't know. It's something about like faking like an actual person doing something. It's kind of weird. It also comes to I think could be related to identity theft, but it's like in the sense of like video. So you could trick someone that someone did something.
For TikTok, it's like really easy for like people to alter videos from the original meaning, because for TikTok you can stitch videos, but you can also save videos and edit them really easily.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not to mention hacking is also pretty prevalent.
Oh yeah, exactly. I wonder how do people even do that anyway?
I think it's called like being really like code savvy. Like
Yeah.
hackers are a thing. So
Like there's a whole like hackathon.
there's a whole hackathon. You can like go through the paywall. You can
First
go through
time,
the firewall.
yeah, first time I heard about this, I was like, they're supporting this.
That's what I thought freshman year too. I was like, they support hacking, and then one of my friends was like, no, don't.
computer science.
It's just nerds.
It's just computer science. Okay.
It's just computer science nerds. I don't know why they gave us that name.
LOL. I just said LOL.
Wonderful.
All right. Yeah. So that's basically what we're gonna end off on for day one of recording. I'm gonna put the intermission. That elevator music that I put in our stories episode. I'm gonna put that in because we're running out of time. So we'll see you guys. Wait, what happened?
No, because I was like doing elevator music in the back, and then
Oh,
Tiffany
whatever.
is just like, is that Jeopardy?
It reminded me of that. Sorry.
All right. Okay, guys. You'll hear from us again soon in a few seconds. Bye.
Okay, so it's really weird because suppose I want to dress up really like fully clothed or whatever. I'm gonna be seen as oppressed
Oh,
because
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, like I want to stay fully clothed. It's my choice, but then I'm being told that I'm being oppressed. But if I wear scantily clad clothing, I'm also being oppressed because I'm doing it for the male gaze.
it's weird because it's like if you do one or the other, you're still gonna be like scrutinized as you
Yeah.
said. It's weird. Like we can't have anything.
I also feel like modern feminism has kind of discounted the many wonders of being feminine. We're always praising masculine traits or traditionally masculine traits as the norm, which is kind of weird in a sense because there are many, of course, masculine traits like bravery, courage, discipline are very important to everybody. It's not just mutually exclusive to just dudes. And feminine qualities of grace, dignity, elegance, and kindness are also very important.
Yeah, I get
Are
what
very
you mean.
important.
I feel like okay. So the whole thing about like being masculine and feminine, I feel like it's also kind of like a more of a social construct.
I think
Oh.
this will be one of. Are you recording?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back. Not all of us are here. Not all of us are back, but
Yeah.
we're just waiting for we're waiting for Bavka actually. And just she's gonna come in like a few minutes. But anyways, now that we're back, continuing where we left off about internet culture. Uh, Padma, you wanted to say something?
I'm just trying to remember where we left off. I think.
Oh, it was like
Oh.
me talking about online friends actually.
Oh yeah, you were. I remember
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't support online friends at all because you don't really know the person behind the screen, and especially like just I just want physical face-to-face friends, and if you want to go in an online setting, it should be with people that you actually know, like you've seen them right in front of you. So I don't support online friends because of that experience that I had. So that's why.
Mhm. I mean, I've made friends through game. I wouldn't say friends exactly, but I've met people through games like Genshin. We've had really like weird but also really funny interactions at times. And I just add them to my friends list. I don't consider them friends per se.
Maybe acquaintances are like mutual.
Acquaintances, yeah. Sometimes we just hop onto each other's world if you need like resources, if you want to fight a couple of bosses with me, you want to test out a character, you want to show off like a character or whatever, you just hop onto my world, just be nice about it. And yeah, uh I haven't had I'm thankful at least that I haven't had any like really negative or uh strange experiences with people online. I was fortunate enough to have nice people like hop into my world and be like, "Hey, can I take a couple of things?" And then they take their stuff and they say thanks and they leave. But
Yeah, it should be like that.
Mhm.
Just as long as it relates to the game or whatever you're on, not getting too personal. That's better.
yeah, I remember this one time I met up with this one player and we kind of just talked about game lore, which was really fun. And then they also kind of revealed that in like through the text that what they want to do as a profession or whatever. And I thought that was really sweet. It wasn't too personal or anything because they didn't reveal their address, they didn't reveal their name or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is one thing you should never do on the internet. If there's anything that you should, they just things to do, not to do on the internet. Just don't dox yourself. It's simple. I think we said this in the first leg of the episode.
Yeah,
But yeah, don't go around telling your name, your like true age, your
Yeah, yeah.
address or whatever. Don't
Yeah.
tell that to random people on
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good to reiterate. It's don't dox yourself, guys.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yes. Uh,
Yeah. And I feel like in the online world, a lot of people feel comfortable being like on the internet and social media talk like it's a place to vent out your emotions, you know. And sometimes you wouldn't feel comfortable doing it in the real world, so you would just do it in the online world because I guess it's just like the environment, you know, no one would really know you, I guess.
Yeah, it's like that anonymity. Oh my god.
anonymity.
Yeah, such a struggle.
I think it's a positive thing, but it also has its downfalls. I'd say pretty massive downfalls. The one thing that I feel like we take for granted on the internet is that it feels like you're speaking into a void at times because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think sometimes we forget the fact that a lot of people use the internet and a lot of people go to different sites and see different things, and then when they see something like maybe on Tumblr, for example, basically where everyone vents out their feelings. Sometimes they're pretty funny and sometimes they're kind of questionable. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to be aware of the fact that someone could see that post and they might not like it, which then goes into the whole idea of cancel culture and
Yeah.
then people trying to get you off certain sites because you said something that they didn't like or something.
Yeah, just for like telling people your opinion about certain things and then you get canceled.
Yeah.
True.
I want to know what is with the modern obsession with cancel culture. It's one thing I never understood. Like, what is? I could say, especially on sites like Twitter and TikTok.
Oh,
Someone
God.
please explain to me why is it such a massive thing? What if I said something that just what warrants a cancel really? What truly warrants a cancel? Obviously, if you say really bad stuff, like if you're like blatantly homophobic or racist or like misandrist or even like misogynistic or whatever, yeah, dude, you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I do get what you mean. Like there's certain things that make sense to, I guess, quote unquote, cancel someone for, but then there's other stuff that doesn't make sense at all. It's like, what? Like just because
Yeah.
you disagree with them.
It's
you know
like
what I'm saying?
it's like you say that you support this certain thing and then the other side is like, no, you shouldn't support that, you should support this, and stuff like that as an example.
Hmm. I mean, we can't get out specifics because then it'll be a completely different topic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like nowadays social media has become more of a government than it's become what it's supposed to be, a social media site.
It's like a whole new world.
I
Like,
get
in
it.
a sense,
Yeah.
yeah. Which is kind of scary in a way because you have all these like I keep using Twitter because it's the face of social media at this point.
Mhm.
I don't think many politicians have TikTok. I don't think they would want to. Anyways, but the
imagine though.
oh my god.
No,
Dude, it would be
man.
an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
As if TikTok wasn't already a cesspool.
Imagine doing it, one of the politicians doing a dance, renegading.
No.
Oh
No,
my
that's
god.
a terrible visual. No, I get what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter. It's definitely
Sometimes you're just there for the laughs.
Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, some of the things I see on my Twitter timeline are pretty funny, but other times they're just very questionable.
Mhm.
Or you just keep scrolling, you just move on.
Exactly.
Also, yeah, I was saying, yeah, it's kind of like a governing body at this point. Like all these like political officials. I mean, we all know about how Trump used to use Twitter in the time, right? And he'd
Oh,
make all
yeah.
these like questionable comments every now and then,
Yeah.
and then people are like cancel Trump or whatever, and I'm just like, oh come on,
No.
come on.
I mean,
What
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you can't really do anything at that
like,
point.
Twitter
like,
is not the
before.
government, guys. If Twitter was the government, I think this place would be America would be a very, very different place.
It's like cancel culture is like the online version of execution.
That is true.
Actually, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
What
like-
witch hunts were like during the Salem witch trials is what cancel culture is in today's world.
Yeah.
Modern witch hunts. That's all it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes without like any like evidence or like not evidence, but like solid proof.
I think the mentality of cancel culture is guilty before proven innocent, which is goes completely against modern goes completely against basic court ruling. It's innocent until proven guilty.
Mhm.
Which I guess people don't like that sentiment is because people have such a strong opinion on certain things that they don't want this person to be seen as innocent until they're proven guilty because they want to label them as guilty before they can actually sift through the evidence.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing. Cause like usually when I see like things like allegations, so I usually like to keep a neutral like mindset
Neutral.
before there's any like news or evidence and stuff. Cause I like before there was this like one thing where there was like allegations on like a K-pop idol.
Yeah, K-pop.
Like
yeah.
on K-pop idols.
I
in
see
general.
a lot of.
But like so one of them I used to like believe it, but like it turned out to be wrong. So I'd rather keep neutral
Until you get all the evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably old news. Pretty much, I think a good portion of people know about the whole Tati and James Charles debacle that was.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, where apparently, so the gist of it is that James Charles was accused of like sexually soliciting minors or something, and was trying to take advantage of young straight boys because he was a celebrity, or that's what the argument was, that he was a celebrity and he could do whatever he wanted, and he was, I'd say, quote unquote, called out by Tati, who was his mentor figure, another beauty guru. And one of the main arguments of this whole thing was that, oh, he didn't promote my brand. So she runs a special, like, I think some sort of health vitamin, a brand or whatever it's called. I don't know the exact details of the drama. I'm just saying what I heard so far. I'm not in on it at all. And then the James Charles was using this he was sponsored by the sleep gummy thingy, so she tried to equate sexually soliciting minors with not representing her brand, which at first people, I think, left the second part of the whole vitamins thing and only saw the sexually soliciting minors part of it. And that's why people try to cancel James Charles, and that's why he lost a massive chunk of his subscribers, like over 4 point something million out of his 116 million sub count. I don't know if I think it's gone up by now, but this is what I mean by modern witch hunts. Like, I don't think anyone actually paid attention. I mean, I wouldn't say not anybody, but like, I feel like we were so quick to jump on to James Charles because I don't think we fully heard what what Tati's video had to say, right?
It was just like focusing on one thing than
Mhm.
what like the whole picture was, I guess.
It's like
What you're trying to say?
we heard something that we don't like, so we're just gonna go with it. Instead of saying, let's hear everything that the video has to say, and then we come to a rational conclusion. I think in an old video by PewDiePie, this was like 3 years ago, I think. This thing happened like 3 to 4 years ago, which is crazy to me, but he made this one video called "Bye Sister" or something or the other, or James Charles response to Tati. One of these titles, I think. And then I think he was one of the few big creators that actually dissected the argument, saying that how in the hell are you relating sexually soliciting minors to not representing a brand that you own? What is the correlation between these two things?
One is like more serious than the other.
One is more serious than the other. One is just it's like business issue, and one is like
just a crime. Bro.
It's a crime, bro. It's a straight up crime. And I feel like a lot of people said that I think PewDiePie was the one who kind of saved James Charles because he was actually able to take a step back and objectively assess what has been presented.
I feel like, speaking of going with it, people would just follow the hate train, like the most popular belief on the internet, and then they believe that instead of the actual truth, because they see like more people, oh, they're following this.
Yeah, it's the
So
bandwagon
yeah,
basically.
Yeah, I hate bandwagon.
yeah,
I've seen it for like a lot of things. Like, okay, this isn't like any serious thing, but okay, so JYP debuted a new girl group and mix. You know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
K-pop.
And their title track, like "Oh," it's like a very experimental song. It's not a bad song, but personally, when I first listened, it was not my favorite. It's not like my style. I'm not a huge fan of experimental songs, but I saw like a lot of hate, and I feel like that hate of the song was kind of like just
Unwarranted.
not unwarranted, but like
The hate.
was kind of like intensified by I think like that bandwagon effect. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
people were like, okay, it's a like subject like like personally I wasn't a huge fan, but I feel like that hate of the song was kind of like unwarranted. Yeah, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
because like
I mean,
yeah,
that's really prevalent with a lot, especially in the K-pop world, isn't it?
mm-hmm.
Usually when idols, because I honestly feel really bad for most the K-pop idols themselves, especially those with really huge fan bases. I don't know how BTS is doing these days. I don't really listen to their music that much anymore. I tune in every now and then. Mostly listen to soloists these days.
Oh yeah, same.
Taemin is cool, Chang'e is cool.
Kang
Just
Daniel.
but anyway, anyways, I feel like the larger the fan base, the more likely you are to have a toxic side of the fan base. I think it's just a given.
That's true. Actually, that's very true. Yeah, I've seen it.
yeah. Kind of reminds me of Billie Eilish too. She started out small with a small fan base, and
Oh.
I've seen like previous concert videos. Um, like there weren't a lot of people in her concert, but like they kind of like respected her and everything. They realized what their place was, like separation from the celebrity and the fan,
Hmm.
because there's this separation.
The parasocial
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah, you guys aren't friends, just
Just like a fan of the
yeah,
creator.
Yeah. I
yeah, and
That's also the one thing I really wanted to talk about too. It's the whole concept of a parasocial relationship, especially with people that you look up to. The sad, bitter, hold hard truth is that you're never fans with a celebrity. You're never friends with a celebrity. Sorry, you're a fan, but you're not a friend.
mhm.
You don't know who they are personally. You don't know what they're like out of behind the camera
Mhm.
or out of the recording studio or wherever it is that you know them, right? That's basically what it is. You may see funny clips here and there, you may see memes or whatever, but you will never know them on a personal level.
Yeah.
That's that's reserved for their family and their friends. They have their own lives beyond whatever it is that you know them for.
Yeah, and it's dangerous to get super attached
Oh
to
yeah.
these celebrities too.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Otherwise, you can get that obsessive nature. It could be like super unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if what if they come out with like all these like some sort of scandalous allegation, then your entire perception of them will be shattered and whatever,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, that's another thing.
reminds
Yeah.
me of. Can I talk about Woojin from Stray Kids?
Sure,
I was
yeah, yeah.
actually like alluding to that.
Yeah.
Like with that.
It
Yeah.
was a whole thing.
It was so messy.
They had to release a documentary to explain to everybody like what is going on and everything. You saw that
Really? I didn't see
documentary?
the documentary.
It
No.
was 10x Entertainment,
Oh, yeah.
by far my favorite entertainment company. After watching that documentary, they released it in English. This was the interesting part
Oh.
because it was mostly English fans that, not fans, but English haters, English haters that were
Yeah.
saying all these things about Woojin. So basically, you want to explain it?
Okay. So like the whole like
Yeah, the whole
scandal
thing.
everything.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the documentary, so I'm probably gonna get a lot of facts wrong.
but in the beginning,
But in the beginning, so okay, to put it into perspective, so Woojin was part of the K-pop group Stray Kids, right? And he left in October 2019 due to personal reasons. We never got the reason.
That's what they said.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, now let's travel to September 2020. I think that's really when that was the true beginning of this whole thing,
Yeah.
right?
It was
Yeah.
this whole Twitter, you know.
Oh God, Twitter is so bad. So
There-
basically, there's like a bunch of like allegations made on like against Woojin, like harassment and stuff.
Yeah, like there was like he went to this bar and started like
And like
they were like acute. This person, whoever this was saying that Woojin harassed her
yeah, and there's just like a
in
bunch
in
of
the bar.
allegations that came up, like
Yeah, and then there was
along with
so
that.
many other things too. And then people saw this and, sympathizing with the victim, because this is
Yeah.
like an example
In
of
true internet fashion,
not
really.
staying neutral.
Yeah.
They were also saying things like, I would rather believe a liar than a rapist.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I feel
Oh
like
no.
But what if
it was really
he
complicated.
was the victim? He was the actual victim because
Mhm.
after that it was all untrue. That's what the documentary explained.
Mhm.
It had all the evidence and everything, and they debunked all of the claims. Those people, whoever it was that made that tweet, was in Brazil or something.
Yeah, it was like
Bruh.
Brazilian or something.
Yeah, and made that
Let me
tweet
see
just to
something.
start drama.
It's so bad because like you're gonna use something as serious as that and accuse someone else. It's like I guess same thing with like bullying allegations. That's why you really need to stay neutral until you get the whole story, right?
Yeah, and he was getting death threats. People
It
knew
sucks,
Woojin's
yeah.
number, started phone calling him every single night. Can you imagine the
That's just-
terror?
Yeah, it's just terrible.
What is this documentary called?
I don't know, but you can find it in the 10X
It's-
Entertainment channel. It is actually the best documentary ever. They're very informal, but they sound really angry, like very emotional stuff, intense documentary.
I mean, it makes sense because of the subject matter. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's warranted, obviously, because of what happened. Because it's so terrible what happened to him.
Yeah, they were also saying 10X Entertainment, the company that he's in now, was fake, but
Yeah,
it turned out to be real after like looking at the documentation.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's just like very low key. I think that was the thing. No one really knew of it, and was kind of like, yeah. So there's that thing too. Trying to find something.
So, I mean, this is what we were talking about beforehand, right? Like the truest internet fashion, it's always guilty until proven innocent.
Oh yeah, here. There's this YouTube channel called Ever Glow Up, and they do a bunch of like K-pop videos, and they actually did like 2 videos about that whole thing with Kim Woo-jin. I mean, yeah.
It kind of sucks that people are, especially when you're on the internet, it's so easy to fabricate information, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because I mean, even with like actual news sites, we have the American news channels like Fox or CNN or whatever it is, right? I also, one thing that I absolutely hate is the fact that they're not political. Why is it that news channels have to be political?
You're not
Your
wrong.
job as the news is to present the news.
Mhm. Yeah, I
You
get
know?
what you mean by that. I feel like if it's political, then it's just like you're not sure what to
The news
necessarily
is
believe.
skewed.
Yeah, it's very skewed. So it's I feel like if there's like more like general news, then you can form your own opinions of it.
Yeah.
Because this is just like doing that whole thing with like confirmation bias.
Yeah.
You're just confirming that. And you're not like going to necessarily like, expand your views if you keep doing that, I guess.
I mean, that's how America has this radical politicization, right? It's like in the state, especially in certain parts, you're either like a liberal or you're either a conservative. There's no in between. You can't be like a neutral party. It's either you support the left or you support the right.
Yeah. And I think they deleted the documentary. Like I'm looking at the channel, I don't see it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they just wanted to forget about it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way,
who joined us.
Who joined us?
Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm late. I went to go get lunch.
Oh, understandable.
Yeah, put it there.
Yeah. All right. So Bhavika's here today. We just finished off of like picking sides. Like,
Political sides
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, and also I also want to add the point of there's a lack of nuance on the internet.
That's true.
So you can post like a certain take and there's like no room for it to like not say like debate per se, but it can become very vague and can be misinterpreted pretty easily.
I mean, it's hard to really express emotion through text, right? It's hard to it's sometimes I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out what satire looks like when you read it, right? But for some people they take it too seriously and then it causes a problem.
yeah, that's why I use emojis a lot. So
I
that I
mean,
don't
if you
sound
post
dry.
a random take like I think we're being lied to like donuts are all square in reality or something. Obviously it's
Which is
satirical.
why like
Yeah.
tone indicators are a thing.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is,
I was,
like
I was gonna bring that up actually. Yeah.
I feel like tone indicators they're helpful in a way.
Yeah, they're helpful to like discern like what's like a certain thing, like if they're serious or genuine or saying something
Yeah, 'cause then
jokingly.
This is
things
like
can-
English class. In English class, you teach us about tone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like if you accidentally capitalize all your letters and send that text, it would sound like a mad person, and the person that you texted that to would stop talking to you, and
They'll get mixed signals,
Yeah,
basically.
because
have to be
the
really
way I
careful.
because like the way I talk through text, which most people would call like a dry texter.
Mm,
Do you guys think I'm a dry texter?
no, you're
No.
you're expressive.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, like personally, I think I'm the dry texter because, yeah,
My
not
mom
really.
calls me a dry texter. That's why.
No, you're good. You're good. at that.
Sadia, you actually sound really formal, like with complete sentences and
People
everything.
text a topic sentence with their text messages.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. I'm a dry texter.
No, you're like a business formal texter, I would say.
Sunma talks in either emojis or Reddit language.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, at least I can get my point across, and you know exactly what I mean when I say it, right?
She does remind me of a person who spends a lot on social media.
I
Oh
I
my
text
God.
normally, but with spelling errors.
That's the common texter, basically.
That's
Because
normal.
I can't spell. My autocorrect won't let me spell for the life of me.
Don't worry, just do be like that.
Okay, I think we were talking about cancel culture. I think. Were we?
We we were kind of about
Sasangs?
things. Okay.
Fan culture in general.
K-pop guys, just for FYI.
Okay, so
Mhm.
obviously there's gonna be a lot of like toxic fans. Sorry, okay. Let me redo that. Okay, so obviously with like I think also with like an increased fan base, there are obviously more like creepy fans and like in K-pop you might have heard something called sasaeng. So with sasaengs, they're just like really creepy people who like follow idols and know their schedule and stuff. It's just really weird and stuff. I'm gonna just give a quick example. So I think ATEEZ's son actually said something about sasaengs, like in a V Live or something, or live stream recently, because in January they had their US part of their tour, and there were like people like waiting for them after the concert. And again, that's just really weird and stuff. Like, please don't be creepy.
I mean,
Yes.
okay, waiting for someone after a concert. It sounds normal, but then what happens?
Like, you never know. They could follow them to the hotel and stuff. Like, that's just really, you don't know. You
It's
really don't
true.
know. And I think, yeah, just like that's just one example of many out there. It's just that's probably one of the more tame examples too. It's just weird. Yeah.
I mean, what were we talking about?
There was
cancel
also an instance of a Sasang trying to replicate like EXO's tour bus, so they so they can accidentally get into the tour bus.
Oh.
So dangerous. I'm telling you guys, the obsessive nature of these quote unquote fans is scary.
It's just weird. Yeah.
I noticed that all the Sasang fans usually have this. I mean, it's also kind of with the idol brand image, right? Because think of an idol is someone that kind of
Yeah, the term idol is
Mhm.
also they don't use stars, they use
Yeah, they use
idols.
idol.
Yeah, it's definitely really
As I feel like, especially
very
with
interesting.
I'm not gonna talk on behalf of the Korean culture because I don't know anything of it.
Mm,
But as far as I've seen, especially in K-pop culture, is that the fan usually the idol is kind of supposed to dedicate themselves towards the fans,
Fan
which is
service.
in a way, yeah, which is why when an idol gets married or has a girlfriend or a boyfriend,
Oh my
they're
God.
no longer seen as available for the fans because now they're in a committed relationship with someone else.
That's why they don't allow some of the K-pop idols to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like maybe like hopefully slowly changing.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hyuna and Edon are now openly in a relationship,
Oh yeah,
right?
and they're engaged too. So I think,
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
good
heard-
for them,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like just openly like just slowly changing hopefully,
Uh-huh.
and I hope it continues in this positive direction, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still need to change up their whole standards thing. Like
Mhm.
it's pretty toxic to follow this.
Yeah.
Like you have to be this certain look and stuff like that. You know.
I mean, well,
It's just
that's
like
I,
that's just with beauty standards in general.
Beauty
that's just
standards.
I think
That's
that's
just-
more
yeah.
specifically beauty standards in South Korea.
Yeah.
They're known to be really rigid on South Korean beauty standards because apparently, I all by hearsay, if there are any Korean listeners, maybe feel free to correct us, is that sometimes as graduation presents, sometimes kids get plastic surgery as a gift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of plastic surgery clinics in Korea.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like I think it's one of the it's like the plastic surgery capital of the world, I think.
Mm.
If you're gonna get plastic surgery, the best place to go to would be South Korea. If you want top of the line skincare, your best bet would probably go to South Korea.
Yeah.
Another thing to talk about with like I think plastic surgery is just like the high I think beauty standards like in the world in general.
In the
Where I
world
feel
in
like
general. Yeah.
people feel like they're pressurized to be like look one certain way, and
Yeah, like there's this whole hype about the hourglass figure as well.
Okay, I think obviously the beauty standards around the world are pretty more different, but here in America, what really bothers me with American beauty standards is the idea that, especially for girls, because we can speak on behalf of
Yeah.
girls, right?
definitely yeah.
Is to have a big butt and big boobs
Mhm.
and to show it off. There's no sugarcoating this statement, really.
That's right. Yeah,
A
that's
big
right.
bust and a big.
Yeah, yeah.
And big
This is
glutes.
even shown in like our clothing ads,
Yeah,
like for American Apparel, Hollister, Abercrombie and Finch. Even like Macy's does that sometimes.
You know what I also hate? Sometimes there's these ads that it doesn't even have to do anything with the girl or the outfit. Like next to this car, there's a girl posing or something like that.
it's just
There was one for like Burger King too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why does Burger King need that?
Are you selling the girl or are you selling the burger?
That's what
Exactly, like
That's
me-
what I'm asking.
Yeah, I absolutely hate that.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good marketing strategy, but it's also kind of demoralizing at the same time because you're indirectly telling, say, your female viewer base that, oh, this is what you have to do in order to be successful, and telling the male viewership that this is what you need to be attracted to.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
it's a deficit for both sides, really.
It's a reason.
But the other thing that I don't like about this specific beauty standard is that girls our age and younger than us, I have a feeling, are more pressurized to look and kind of act above their age.
Exactly.
Like 13-year-olds are now dressing in all these, I'm gonna say, pretty lewd costumes when, dude, you're 13. You're still growing and developing. You're not even a full blown adult. You're not even like you're not even 18. Dude.
There is an example of a 13-year-old, Coco Quinn. She's like
Who's
a child.
Coco Quinn?
She's a YouTuber, but like if you search it up, she's like an Instagram model basically.
That's
But
another
she looks a
thing.
lot older, like looks mature in the photos.
See, I don't think what people realize is that there is literally no need for you to look older than you truly are. Like, we're all between the age of 18 and 17, right? But we all, I'm gonna say, we dress our age. We actually look like 17 to 18-year-olds.
Mm.
There is no, I never felt the pressure to like show off my skin or whatever. Because I personally think it's really weird and really uncomfortable
And
for
also,
my.
people have like different standards of what amount of skin they want. People have very different standards on what amount of skin they want to show and how much.
Mhm.
But if it's up to an extent where other people are telling you in a like a concerning way, not in a derogatory way, I think you should honestly just listen.
Mhm.
Especially if they're like older girls because they're telling you from like a place of concern.
Absolutely. Because if you're a 10-year-old and you're seeing all your favorite Instagram models dressing very scantily clad, chances are, especially with like obviously the Kardashians or like any of the major celebrities, they're all fully grown adults. Their bodies are much more developed, and I think they have enough experience to where they can feel more comfortable with themselves. That does not automatically mean that as a 10-year-old, as a 12-year-old, or even a 14-year-old, you don't need to be doing that.
Mm.
You should focus on other things. Appearance, as teenagers, we're not going to look the greatest. We're not all going to look pretty. We're going to go through weird phases of puberty. We're going to have acne. We're going to have all sorts of bodily growth. It's not the prettiest phase of anyone's life, and there's no need for you to want it to be the prettiest phase of your life. Once you hit adulthood, that's when things start to chill out. That's when you start kind of easing out the growth process, and that's when you can finally becoming a bit that's when you can start becoming more free of the need to look a certain way, if you will.
Yeah, I was also trying to find this YouTube short that I just saw this comment underneath the short and I thought it was pretty funny. But it was like one comment was saying acne is a sign of maturity. And then this other comment was saying, like, it was a reply to that comment. It said acne is a sign of bad skin. Like,
Yes.
who's being real? Who's being real here?
Yeah.
And also, this like sort of reminds me with like the disappearance of the tween era.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the tween era of like from
10
from
to
like
12.
10 to
Yeah.
12 where it's like there's no like rough transition period from like childhood to teenagehood. It's like all eased through and I kind of find it kind of weird
Mhm.
Yeah, we
in a
don't
way.
really use the term tween anymore that
Because I
much.
remember when I was like around 10 to 12, it was used very often.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when we were younger.
Yeah, it was like early 2010s, like 2010 to 2015.
Hmm. I mean, because I felt like when we were, I'd say, tweens, there was no like immediate pressure for us to grow up fast. That's also another thing. The whole reason why I feel like, especially girls of our age, are dressing up that way is because they want to feel like they've grown up. When, dude, you're 10. Come on. Well, you're not fooling anybody here.
You don't want to grow up too fast, trust me.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Maybe they want some form of acceptance in society.
That's also the sad part, honestly.
Yeah, it sucks. And I think it also brings to like just like the hypersexualization of like girls, like
And
especially
it's
like
even
teen
worse
girls.
if you're like girls of like marginalized groups.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mainly say this in terms of like for black and brown girls because I heard like those kind of groups get like hypersexualized the most. I'm not speaking on anyone, that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, all hearsay, right?
Yeah. That's totally fair.
I mean, it doesn't make any. I don't think it makes things better with the kind of, especially with like female rappers and the kinds of visuals that they put out. I'm not commenting on the music part of it because I don't know much about the music, but obviously we've heard the thing that happened with WAP, Cardi B's hit, and honestly, I didn't get the whole reason why people didn't like the song. I just thought it was like every other Cardi B song,
Yeah.
you know?
It was more of like people saying, "Oh, she's like like advertising to the children or whatever." In true like fashion, she wasn't actually marketing to the children at all. She was made for an adult audience only.
But that's the thing. Kids are gonna like watch it more often than not.
Yeah, especially when their parents tell them no.
Especially when the song becomes so popular.
especially
Oh, that's
on
true.
sites that kids use, which is TikTok.
Mm. I guess it's more of the snowball of you can try to control it as much as you can, but it just ends up falling out of your hands.
Mhm.
Like with most things on the internet.
Unfortunately.
Speaking of which, a lot of people ignore the phrase that the internet is forever.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever you post, it's
It's gonna.
immortal.
It's immortal. It's gonna be in some database in
Yeah.
some site, whatever. Right?
Cyberspace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever you say, be careful, y'all. You don't want it.
Yeah, you
Don't
don't want
post-
a Will Smith going
Just
on.
don't post your like address or full
Yeah.
real name.
What's the moral of this entire episode? Don't dox yourself. Don't be dumb online.
Just don't be dumb online. It's literally that easy.
Actually, pay attention to your internet safety classes.
Yes, be careful.
And pay attention to English class. Pay attention to your English classes because they teach you a lot about how to conduct yourself in a world full of text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, "Oh, English is dying with the use of the internet," and I'm like, I don't think it's not because.
No, it's not.
It's not
I feel
really.
like it's becoming more prevalent than ever because there's certain things that you learn in an English class, like knowing how to interpret tone, knowing how to analyze arguments, is really, really important when you're reading stuff online.
Yeah. And also one more thing. YouTube Shorts or TikTok? What do you
Yes.
guys prefer?
No, I don't. Neither of them. Bro.
None of them, honestly.
But
Honestly, I would just use TikTok.
Oh.
I don't have TikTok.
I'd
Good
rather go
thing.
YouTube Shorts because then I can just
Yeah.
watch YouTube instead.
It has best of both worlds, long, short videos, and yeah.
I get what you mean by that.
But that's
I
also
just want like the fast scrolling thing.
But that's also another thing that TikTok, I feel like, has done to people's brains.
Oh,
You have now just it's short, instant gratification. That's all it is. That's how. Isn't that how TikTok algorithms work?
Yeah, and also it becomes like curated to you specifically.
I think it's just so interesting how like a lot of social media just switched to not switched but added to that type of like format. Like
Mhm.
you know, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. I don't know.
And
I don't
because
see the point of it,
content
honestly.
Is so like personalized to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like certain content, chances are there's like similar content that will hop up into your For You page. It works like Pixiv, you know, when you like certain like art, and then it gives you like similar art or
I
that
don't-
you would like, and then
I've heard that's not how it works at times. I've heard that no, what I'm saying is that it's more on along the lines of instant gratification. How long are videos on TikTok usually?
they're usually like
What's
30
the limit?
seconds to 1 minute long.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's infinitely shorter than most YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer YouTube as a social media site because at least I get to watch content for extended periods of time. My focus is on one extended topic instead of 30-minute not 30 minutes, sorry, 30-second videos of just
Yeah.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm
I
actually
like YouTube for like video essays.
absolutely, this is why I much prefer YouTube. I get to watch video essays, I get to watch like maybe meme compilations and stuff.
Just a
You good, bro?
bunch of broad stuff.
Yeah, raw topics.
Yeah, but okay. So since we've run out of time, unfortunately, that's the end of the episode. There could be a lot of things that we could still talk about,
Mhm.
but I think we left off on a pretty good note. So that's the end of our podcast episode. If you guys have anything you want to say, send us an email, give us a voice message on Anchor, fill out the Dropbox Google form, or go to the physical Dropbox that is outside of L125 and drop us a message in there. Unfortunately, today we're not going to read any Dropbox messages because we did not get any. But hopefully, next week when we publish our next episode, we'll get some and we'll read those. So, yeah, that's it. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and add our podcast to your Spotify playlist.
Peace
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
on the internet.